Have you guys ever wondered where the best place in the US is to visit? There's a lot of great places in the US to visit, so I'm not actually sure if I could tell you which one is the best. That's an opinion. Some people like to visit the beach, others the mountains, and some people even like to visit cities. Today I'm going to be focusing on the top 10 most visited cities in the US. We're going to start with the 10th most visited city and work our way down to the first. The 10th most visited city in the US is Chicago. It gets almost 1.5 million visitors a year. Chicago's a huge city and it's right on Lake Michigan. A lot of people from the Midwest go to Chicago to visit friends and family. The 9th most visited city is Boston. It gets a little over 1.5 million visitors a year. I would like to go to Boston someday because I heard they have some amazing historical sites. I haven't been to Boston or Chicago, but I've been to the other 8 remaining cities on the list. The 8th most visited city in the US is Washington, D.C. A lot of people like to visit D.C. because it's our nation's capital. They have some amazing museums, battlefields, and monuments. Anybody who's interested in US history definitely needs to go to D.C. We went there when I was 8, so I don't remember much. All I remember is looking at statues and getting stamps. I'd really like to go there now because I think I'd appreciate the historical stuff a little bit more. The 7th most visited city is Honolulu. They get over 2.7 million visitors a year. That's a crazy amount of visitors because Honolulu is only a small part of the island of Oahu. I have some of the best memories of my life living in Honolulu. We lived in Hawaii in 2018 and 2020. We went into Waikiki a few times for surf lessons, and we even played our ukuleles on the streets there. Another thing, we saw a lot of really cool cars in Honolulu. Honolulu is probably one of the only places you can work in a skyrise building and then walk to the beach to go surfing after work. If you ever get the opportunity to go to Hawaii, you definitely gotta check it out. Coming in at number 6 for the most visited city in the US is Las Vegas. Las Vegas has a lot of gambling and our family isn't really into that, but I do have an uncle who lives there and we visit and we have a great time. Las Vegas does have some really cool lights and good buffets. The 5th most visited city is San Francisco. I was born in the San Francisco Bay Area and I lived there till after 1st grade. We went to San Francisco all the time. People visit from all around the world to go to San Francisco, probably because there's so many things to do. Just the hills and trolley cars are enough to get some people to visit. A lot of people like to go on the piers and look at seals and get seafood. I really liked hiking up to Coit Tower. There's a national park near there called Muir Woods and they get tons of visitors. That's because San Francisco is one of the only places in the world where coastal redwoods grow. The only thing wrong with San Francisco is that they have the Giants, not the Dodgers. I'm so happy the Dodgers knocked the Giants out of the playoffs this year. Some people just want to go see the Golden Gate Bridge, which is amazing, but there's so many other cool things to do in San Francisco. The 4th most visited city in the US is Orlando, Florida. They attract 4.4 million visitors a year. There's tons of theme parks and there's also really cool beaches to visit. The Kennedy Space Center is also nearby, which is really cool because they launch rocket ships from there. There's also a spaceship there so you can see how enormous they actually are. Orlando also has lots of sunshine, golf, and shopping.
David, we're still filming.
Oh, right. The 3rd most visited city in the US is Los Angeles. People come to Los Angeles for the nice weather and the beaches and to see all the cool Hollywood stuff. There's a lot of cool sports venues and cultural stuff. A lot of the visitors that come to LA are probably also going to Disneyland. One thing's for sure, people definitely don't come to LA for the traffic. We live near LA and we go there all the time and the traffic's horrible. We've been fortunate enough to go to a lot of really cool movie premieres in LA and meet some really cool people. The 2nd most visited city in the US is Miami. Miami, like LA, usually has pretty nice weather all year around. As long as there's not a hurricane hitting you. There's tons of water sports like snorkeling and scuba diving in Miami. If you're in Miami, you could also drive down to the Florida Keys, which are really cool. Miami's kind of like LA because there's a lot of nice beaches and nice cars. A lot of people from New York like to go down to Miami where it's warm for the winter. Every time we go to Miami, we always go to the Everglades because it's such a diverse national park. They have a wide variety of plants, insects, and animals. Leo Messi, the most famous soccer player in the world, has already bought a few condos in Miami. The most visited city in the US is Bismarck, North Dakota.
David, that's not right. It's New York City.
Oh, right. Let me retry that. The most visited city in the US is New York City. I've been there once and it was really fun, but honestly, I like some of the other cities a little more. We went to the top of the Rockefeller building and we walked around Central Park. We also took the subway to Central Station. We also had some really good pizza and mac and cheese when we were in New York City. We saw the Statue of Liberty, which was amazing. Our van was too tall to fit in most of the parking garages, so we ended up paying $95 a night for parking. And on top of that, they charged us the price of a bus when we were driving over the bridge into Manhattan. I think my favorite part though was when some guy kicked a bunch of trash bags and like 30 rats came running out. We went there in November, and I remember it being the coldest place on our whole road trip. Maybe when I'm older I'll appreciate it a little more and I'll go see some of the Broadway musicals. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching my video. Let me know in the comments which cities you've been to and which cities you want to go to. Thanks for watching. Bye!